Well, all right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tea Time Tuesday. We're so excited that everybody is joining in with us tonight at the Renewal Center. This is our special Tuesday night Tea Time Tuesday. And while we are welcoming everyone, we want to, first of all, say thank you to all of our followers and our subscribers in our Tea Time community. And we are so excited that we are back doing our tea time tonight. So this is a wonderful Tuesday evening for some renewal practices. And our topic tonight is going to be the myth of making time for yourself. So why renewal requires permission, not just planning. So this is a great time to grab your journals. This is a great time to invite your friends and your family to join us. This is a great time for pause, reset, and building resilience. Good afternoon, Monique. It's good to see you tonight. And we also would like, hello. It's good to see you. Everybody's joining in. I can't catch everybody's name, but we are welcoming everybody to the Renewal Center. We want to kick off our Tea Time Tuesday tonight with some awarenesses for the month of June. I know we're closing out, but we're still in this month. And so we definitely would like to go ahead and share with you what we're honoring this month. First of all, we're going to honor Men's Health Month. That's right. And Patrick is going to kick that off for us.
All right. Thank you again, Carmela. Welcome, everybody. Again, we are recognizing Men's Health Month. I'm rocking my blue again. And so, again, I want to encourage you for the men in your life. Please encourage them to get their checkups if they haven't, see how they're doing, do an emotional check in, a mental check in, a physical check in. Brothers, I want to encourage you. Focus on your constant awareness about anything that's preventable in your life. So early detection and treatment is so important. So again, brothers, let's make sure we take care of ourselves. Back over to you, Carmela.
Yes, yes. And you are rocking the blue tonight. All right. For the month of June. That's right. You're representing. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. My
All
annual
right.
physical is next Wednesday. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's right.
Leading by example. That's great. We want to continue on with our awarenesses, and one of our other awarenesses, which is so near and dear to many of us, is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. And this is, as the statement says, is dedicated to educating the public about brain health and Alzheimer's disease. And as we know, many of us have been impacted. Many are on that journey, and so we definitely want to honor this particular awareness this month. And so, once again, Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. That's right. Good evening. It's good to see you too, Crushing Chemo Chick. We'll also have another awareness today that we're honoring, and that is International Widows Day. And that is really talking about honoring the strength, embracing renewal, and building hope. And this is such a delicate yet rewarding awareness and acknowledgement. And it is stated that International Widows Day was introduced to address poverty and injustice faced by widows and their children in many
Mhm.
countries. And it's officially recognized by the United Nations in
Mhm.
2010, and it is now observed annually on June the 23rd. So, again, we are definitely thankful for this acknowledgement of honoring International Widows Day. Okay, and so as we are doing that, we're going to kick off our evening with our tea of the week. And it is a flavorful, very bright and refreshing, sweet, savory tea. This is Mandarin tea, which originated in China and the Philippines. It is a citrus tea made from steeped mandarin orange peels. You could drink it iced or hot with your choice of sweetener. And you can also add green tea in there too. So this is a great way to kick off our summer. We know summer just kicked off. You could drink it as a nice iced tea. So go ahead and put it in the chat. What is your choice of tea today? And I'm going to pass the torch over to Hope so we can move into something else that we love to do here on Tea Time Tuesday.
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. And just thankful to be here with all of you this evening on our Tea Time Tuesday or evening edition. And just excited to be here with all of you. Everybody who's new, we just want to welcome you as well. And our regular community, we're just glad that you're all here. And so this is a time where we take a moment to pause. And we know that Tea Time is about pause, reset, and building resilience. And so with our pausing, we are going to locate ourselves. This is where we take a moment to kind of unwind, relax your shoulders, allow your thoughts to calm down, and just allow your breathing just to just engage with yourself so that, after we've had such a, maybe a full day, this is the time where we take a moment to locate ourselves. So we want to do that for just a moment, and we just take a moment to go ahead and we'll locate ourselves. Oh, that feels so good. That feels great. I hope you guys enjoyed locating yourself this evening with us on our Tea Time community. And so we're just going to go ahead and turn it over to Patrick, who's going to lead us tonight. I'm excited, Patrick, to engage in this great conversation and looking forward to what you'll have to share this evening.
Thank you so much, Hope. Thank you so much, Carmelo. This has been great. Everyone, please make sure that you put in what is your tea of choice. I have not. I am actually doing. I think what I said is elderberry lemon balms. What I have this evening. All right. Make sure you grab your journals. All right. Make sure that you grab your journals. Grab your tea. Let's get ready. All right. Looking forward to this. This is exciting because we're wrapping up all these awarenesses. And I'm so grateful that we have this time together to really share concerning the myth of making time for yourself, as Carmela mentioned earlier, why renewal requires permission, not just planning. So I know many times we think about vacations when it's the summer. We think about taking off when it's the summer, right? Because it's the summer. So I want us to think about this from a perspective that this is something that we want to engage in on a consistent basis, not just because it's the summertime where we normally do vacations and other activities that are recreational, but also just making sure that we implement this as part of our renewal in the area of mything and making time for ourselves. To say, well, why are we focusing on that? Well, because many times people think they can make time, and you really can't make time. You really cannot make time. Many people are not waiting on time; they're really waiting on permission. So I want to lead us out first of all with a dominant thought that I think will be very helpful for us. And I want you to consider this, everyone. Read this with me. The myth is not simply that we do not have enough time. The deeper myth is that life will eventually slow down enough to give us permission to be renewed. Many people are not waiting on time, they're waiting on permission. So that's the core thought. All right. We're not going to really make time, you have to take it. There's just time you're going to have to take in order for us to be renewed. And so that's the focus for our tea time. And I want to address a couple of myths first about it, because you know how sometimes people say, I just got so much going on, and I just got to take time. I got to make time for myself. I got to make time. Well, it's really not about planning. It's about giving yourself permission first. You got to give yourself permission. And so permission to what? To pause, permission to rest, uh, permission to say no. Um, what else happens? Permission to stop proving. Maybe permission to even, to care for your own capacity without feeling guilty. Or maybe even lastly, permission to admit, I am not unlimited. I think we all need to put that in the comments too, by the way. If you're watching, just go ahead and put in, I am not unlimited. I know that we think we are many times, but we're not unlimited people. And so it's important that we're able to recognize that if we're going to be healthy, if we're going to be individuals who really understand the importance of really being renewed, we have to really focus on, there's a myth about taking time for ourselves, making time, excuse me. We need to take time. We need to be able to be people who actually are in this place where we're making room for our lives. Making room for our lives is so important, and for what's important for us. So put in the comments, I am not unlimited. I am not unlimited. Make that your mantra for the rest of this month and moving into the next month. So before I get started, Carmelo, I hope any comments before I get started, before I know we just not kicking off, but just want to give me any space if anything resonates right now before we get started.
Well, I do like this topic already. And I like the fact that you're talking about permission. What jumped into my mind immediately was permission means go ahead, to go ahead. The green light. You got a green light to go ahead and do it. And so, as you were saying, many people aren't waiting. They're actually waiting for permission. They're waiting for a green light, or the opportunity to say it's okay to go ahead and do it.
That's right. Permission to pause, rest, say no. Right. I am not unlimited. So I'm hoping that this will help us move from chasing time to forming like a rhythm and getting out of any guilt to being to a life of permission. Um, and hope any thoughts that you want to share before I get started in our renew practice.
I like the phrase that you use. I am not unlimited,
Hmm.
and that speaks volumes as far as just how our how we do our time, and like you said, making time, versus taking time,
Hmm.
and that is a difference, So
Hmm.
that's what I'm looking for, that you would, as we expound on this evening's tea time regarding that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Let's dig in. Y'all ready? All right. Let's address some of these myths. All right. These myths to making time for yourself. One is there's a myth called I'll make time when life slows down. Now, let's just keep this very honest and real. Are things really going to slow down for you? I mean, we
Mm,
really need to think about that because you don't really make more time. You really make more room. You make more room. So I know that there's this mindset. This is a myth because many people live as if a calmer version of life is coming soon. Well, after this season, I'll rest. After this project, I'll breathe. After everyone else is okay, then I'll focus on myself. No, life does not create margin for us automatically. We have to participate. So we got to reframe that myth. All right. That means we got to begin acts of room making. Everybody type in the comments room making.
mm,
Room making. That's what we're going to focus on. Not making time because you can't make time, but you can make room. We just have to participate in making the room. Okay. Now, I want you to think about this because you don't want to wait till life to slow you down. Number two, there's a myth that taking time for renewal is selfish. That taking time for renewal is selfish. I just want to leave these up there so you can write these down and just meditate on these. All right. Taking time for renewal is selfish. This myth shows up people who are like parents sometimes, or you're leading a business, or you're
mhm,
heavily responsible, or even caregiving and helping. You know, you may know you need space, but then you feel guilty receiving it. And so they can encourage everybody else to rest, but struggle to give themselves the same permission. So, myth number two is taking time for renewal is selfish. And then the third myth, we got six myths. We're going to look at just the first three. Another myth is rest must be earned. I don't know if you've ever heard that
mm.
before, but that's one. That's another myth. You're only allowed to pause after everything is finished. You run yourself ragged, going and going and going, and then you only pause after everything is finished. The reality is everything is rarely finished anyway. So I'm going to pause here. I just want to make sure you wrote these down before we dig in a little bit deeper. So, Carmela, Hope, Tea Time audience, um, we're addressing three core myths. The first one was I'll make time when life slows down. I'll take time or taking time for renewal is selfish. And then the third one was rest must be earned. And then we got three other myths. Want to hear your thoughts, tea timers, on these first three myths? Hope any thoughts and ideas on any of these three that we first mentioned. Carmel, any thoughts? I just want us to kind of think about this. Uh, what you may have heard, or perhaps, or you maybe have seen people relate to this about when life slows down, or if any of these resonate with you. Feel free.
Well, they're all good, points that you brought attention to. The one that provokes thought the most for me was the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Rest must be earned.
Okay.
And I have seen, witnessed, and heard, and even myself, where it's like you need to have done a certain amount of things to even acquire to be able to say, okay, I can rest. I've seen perceptions of sometimes thinking it, have to do so much in a day, or so much stuff needs to be done for me to actually earn, be able to rest. And I simply find out that that is very untrue. And so, even over time, I myself was like, okay, I got to do this, I got to do that. This has to be done. This has to be done. And I'm not going to rest until I get everything that I have on this list checked off. And so I begin to let those things go. If I didn't get to it today, I'll get to it. If tomorrow, grace tomorrow comes, I'll get to those things. But that pressure, just I gotta get it this, and then I can rest. But I'm not gonna be able to rest until I, kind of, get everything done, get everything complete, have
Mm.
everything finished, have all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. And in life, it doesn't work that way. It's kind of
That's
run
right.
yourself ragged,
That's
and
right.
just tire yourself out mentally. So I
Thank
just
you
want
for
to
sharing
share
that. Let me ask you a question just to build on that hope. Um, do you wait until your phone dies to charge it?
that. No,
Right. You charge it so it can keep what? Function.
going. Keep having to charge. Yeah.
So if we do that to our phones,
Hmm. Right.
we need rhythms of renewal before we reach being depleted. I thought about
Yes.
that because
Good.
like, oh my God, I gotta find a charger. And it's like, if we're urgent for a device,
Mm-hmm.
rest is not a reward for collapsing. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be earned. So I'm glad that you started out with that. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Carmela, any of these three resonate with you as well? Any thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, I wanted to go back to when you said I am not unlimited. And it's really interesting because you got in the first line, life rarely creates margin. And what I put on my paper initially was there is margin under I am not unlimited,
Mm,
meaning that we got to create a space, we got to create margin, we got to create opportunity because opportunity don't just it's not going to just fall in your lap for you to make time for yourself. And
mm,
so that myth is there that I'll wait until there's time. There's never enough time. You have to take and make margin and create margin for yourself and an opportunity for you to rest, to come back, to recalibrate, whatever you need to do. and
mm.
then and then the part that really got to me was the number three, renewal must be earned. And I thought about that and I said to myself, well, renewal is a right. Everyone deserves and needs and requires rest. Everyone, we all need to be refreshed. We all need to take time to make that our primary focus. So it's, for me, it's almost like that's a no-brainer now in my
Yeah,
journey.
yeah.
It's not an argument anymore. It's a right that I had. I have a right to relax, or we're gonna be burnt out, or whatever have you. So I really like that you have that on there. Number three,
Mm,
renewal must be. That's a myth. Renewal must be earned. No, it's not,
mm.
because we all have a right to be refreshed.
That's right.
Going back to that permission, give yourself permission. I
Yeah.
need to take a break because it's
Yes.
required.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. These are some powerful perspectives. Folks, please chime in as you're um, online to share with us what your thoughts are, what potentially resonates with you, what stands out for you. Sometimes we work all hard all week. I'll rest when I'm finished, but the unfinished tasks, it just keeps multiplying. I noticed that even something that was delegated to me, and where I was, okay, you know what? I'll check back in tomorrow on this, or check back in later, and let me step away. Because what
Yeah.
is happening is, as humans, we need rhythms of renewal before we reach depletion. Don't do like your cell phone, and then you're looking around for a charger. You don't wait until your phone dies to charge it. You charge it so it can keep functioning. Resting is charging. Okay. Resting is
Mhm.
charging. I think we need to put that in the comments too. Resting is charging. What do you mean charging while I'm resting? Yes, that's how you reboot who you are. And so it's important. I want you to ask yourself, have I been treating rest like something I must deserve instead of something I need? I
Mhm.
think we need to think about that. So just a few principles I think I want us to really consider, that resting is charging. Got a few comments coming in. Carmel, you want to take this one?
Yes. Crushing Chemo Chick. She says, there were moments I have fallen prey to the myth or the myth of, oh, I'll take time when life slowed down. Then suddenly, when life came to an abrupt stop, I've learned to navigate differently. The moment was not good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's read this one too.
And
Mm-hmm.
Tina Cornett says, life will force us to rest, by the way, of illnesses if we don't prioritize self and rest. Yes, it will shut you
Mm-hmm.
down.
Yeah. Here's another one.
Okay. And Nichelle, she says, life does not slow down. It's life, moving 24/7, even while we sleep. Intentional living requires being intentional about pause and rest.
All right, folks, like this.
That is
Okay.
so powerful.
Mm-hmm. What's resonating with you, folks? Let me know. Let us know what's resonating with you. Resting is charging. All right. Rest must be earned. That is a myth. Let's move on to three more myths. Busy people are more valuable. That's a
Mm.
myth. Grinding it out. Y'all heard
Oh
that
my
before.
goodness.
Grinding it out. Busy people are more valuable. My needs can wait. I don't have time to be renewed. Y'all know we like this word renew around here. Busy people are more, that's a myth. Your worth is not measured by your exhaustion. I got to grind it out. I got to do what I got to do. I got to make it happen. Resting is charging. All right, everybody. Are you seeing
Mm.
these myths? What stands out? Have you ever thought of these? Have you ever dealt with these? Resting is charging. Hope you want to read this one by Monique, please.
Sure. You put my glasses on. Our society encourages consistent work-driven cultures without the expectation of taking care of yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually.
Mm-hmm. All right. Any thoughts, anyone? I want to hear from you, tea timers. Which one of these last three myths, busy people are more valuable? You ever heard of that? My needs can wait. Mm, very interesting perspectives here. I'm learning it can wait. I listen to my body and rest is necessary. This is some good stuff coming in. Good evening. Good evening. Yes, it feels empty. I think there's not many things that are true emergencies where we can unplug. We are just used to being on apps, feeling empty when we're not, or it feels empty. Gotcha. All right. Nichelle says, I've dealt with all of them and learned the hard way. Don't be like me. I hear you. You should transparency. All right.
Yes.
Yes, I tend to others' needs before my own. All right. So we're getting some transparency out here. Folks are sharing. This is good. Again, I just want to just help us understand the importance of these are myths. All right. These are myths. I'll make time when life slows down. It's not going to slow down. Taking time for renewal is selfish. No, it's not. It's stewardship of all that you carry. All right. Rest must be earned. Absolutely not. All right. Rest is charging. Busy people are more valuable. Stop this grind it out mindset. And then once you grind it out, you have nothing left. Okay.
Mhm.
You cannot wait. Your needs to be addressed now. All right. That's important as well. And then the last one about that being renewed. So let's keep moving forward. So I want to focus on making time to making room. If you're taking notes, I want you to consider this because we're moving from making time, which is squeezing more into an already full calendar. How many of you already got full calendars? I mean, just be transparent. You got a lot that's jumping on it. I've got my digital calendar. I still do a physical one actually because I like the tactile involvement of writing things down. I haven't moved away from that. It's just something about having it and seeing it and turning the pages for me. But that may not work for you because you like the digital part of it. But I do want to encourage you to find a system that works for you. Now, this is not about making time. It's about making room. Making room. We started out about that room making. That was one of the things we shared. So how do you make room? Well, it may require saying no, turning off a device, asking for help, changing a routine, leaving something unfinished. Ooh, I know that's hard for people who are perfectionists. Choosing presence over pressure. We're going to move from making time to making room. Here's how you do it. What does it say there? Create space for what actually matters. You got to determine what actually matters. And sometimes you're going to require, you got to say no. Say no to yourself. Say no to your own busy stuff. This has nothing to do with nobody else. This is about you making room to turn off your device. I want everybody to think about that. When are you going to turn off your device this week? When are you going to ask help if you need it? When are you going to change a routine? Or so what resonates with you here, Tea Timers, when you think about making time to making room? What are you going to do differently? What do you think you need to do differently? Hope, Carmela, what are your thoughts on that as far as like, instead of squeezing time into an already full calendar, creating space for what actually matters? So any thoughts?
Well, yeah, I'm trying my best to be a participant and not come from the time management coach.
No, please come from your coach realm. Talk to us. Yes, let's share.
Well, time management is so important to all of us. But one of the things that I see the most is a lack of balance. And all of these things bring us back to balance. Something that jumps out, especially that is overlooked, I think, is that second bullet that you have on the screen, and it's asking for help. And one of the things about asking for help is sometimes we forget that's an option that we have. That we can't do all of the heavy lifting all of the time. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask someone else that could help you bring some balance to it. Maybe there's something you can delegate. Maybe there's some things you can delegate, take off your plate. Because we already live in a busy world. We're already trying to manage everything. So why not ask for help? And I think sometimes asking for help to some people may think that that's being weak, but actually that's being strong, because you're admitting the fact that I need balance, and healthy living starts with balance. So asking for help, I think, is a real plus to help us not feel, like you said, an already full calendar. Maybe there's some things you can take off of the calendar by delegating, and having someone else help you with certain things.
That's good. Thank you for sharing that. Wow. Anybody else? Hope, any thoughts from you? Tea Timers, any thoughts for making time to making room, creating space for what actually matters? Did any of those points resonate with you as well?
Yes, I was just listening to what Carmela was sharing, and the part about asking for help really, really stuck out to me. Sometimes we're in certain situations, and I can say for myself where you're just like, well, I'm just gonna do it myself, not utilizing the people or the team or those that are available around. I realized that in those situations, I became more stretched, more worn out, not having enough time. And so I'm glad that you shared about that, Carmela, because even as I learned in my role that it was instrumental that I utilized the team and the people that were around me. So that I wouldn't be stretched so far, especially with the type of role that I function in. And I realized, even with that, Carmela, that it became easier and more light. I wasn't so worn and so tired and so not being able to have time for myself. So that part really stood out to me because that's something that I have experienced and something that I have grown from and have learned from, to be able to ask for help. Okay. It's not, nobody knows everything, and asking for help actually helps us to grow and be able to have the time we need. Sometimes not asking for help, you waste a lot of time trying to figure it out when you can just reach out and ask for help from somebody who actually already knows.
That's
And
right.
someone who can guide you. And so I've learned that. And so thank you for that point, Carmela, that you pointed out. I just want to share that.
This is good. Yeah, saying no. So a few things that are going to make room. I want to put a question in here, just a more of a development question. Where have I trained myself Where have I trained myself to disappear? I'm just putting that there, just food for thought. Where have we trained ourselves to just simply just disappear? Because some of us are just constantly available. I'm just throwing that out there. Where have you trained yourself to disappear? You don't have to answer that right now, but I want you to think about this as it relates to making room. All right? That's important. That's an important question. And I think that it's important, like the asking for help part. I'm glad that you pointed that out. I also wanted to point out something about, changing a potential routine that I normally take. Because sometimes we think that we have to have like large chunks of time, to be able to make those changes. We got to have all this. No, you don't have to wait for perfect conditions. That's what I want to say. Mm-hmm. Or it's about the rhythm. Mm. It's about the rhythm. It's not about having perfect conditions, fully cleared schedule. It can start with little, small, honest practices like I need some help. I can't do this by myself. I got a lot on me. And that's not just about delegation. That's about allowing yourself to receive help. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this doesn't always begin with hours. Sometimes I like to call it 5 honest minutes, 5 minutes of breathing. Okay. So what you think? 5 minutes of breathing, 5 minutes of silence. Yeah. 5 minutes of journaling. 5 minutes of walking without your device. And then 5 minutes of not reaching for your phone. 5 minutes of telling the truth to yourself about yourself. We just did 25 minutes of renewal, just in those 5 minutes of breathing. I'm just going to breathe for 5 minutes. Then I'm going to take another 5 minutes and just be inside. Yeah. Then I'm going to take my journal out. I'm going to do another 5 minutes. That's 15 minutes of just calm. You see what he just did? Why didn't you get it? It's okay. You started with a small little practice. Mm-hmm. Before I go reach for my phone, you know what? I'm just going to 5 minutes. I'm just going to put it someplace in 10, 15 minutes. I'm not going to even engage it. Mm-hmm. Now, this is for the folks that says, well, I can't take an hour, but you can take 3 minutes. You can take 5 minutes. You can take 10 minutes. You can take a quiet walk around the block. The goal here is not perfection. It's return. Let's write that down. The goal is return. It's not perfection. Nobody's asking for that. You shouldn't even be demanding that of yourself. So the focus here, again, time is fixed, but our relationship with time is what we need to work on. I can't create an extra hour in a day, but what I can do is I can examine, what is my relationship with time like? It is not about a scheduling problem. It's a relationship with time problem. The belief that we have. Well, if I rest, I'm going to fall behind. If I slow down, I'll be out of control. Mm-hmm. Or if nobody's calling me, maybe I'm not valuable. So now I make myself available for everything. You see where that's going? It's not about rearranging the calendar. The deeper work is what's going on inside of me where I don't think I have permission to rest. Yeah. Okay. So it's important that the goal is return. What are you returning to? You're returning to the truth about yourself. The realities that we do have limits and that we are not unlimited. Yeah. Anything else Hope or Carmela, before I move forward to the next thoughts? Okay. Ready? All right. Let's do an exercise here. I want everybody to think about which room do you need. All right. We've got mental room, emotional room, physical room, relational room, spiritual, creative, recovery. Take a time, and I want you to think about this. I need blank room. Identify the room here that you most need, then ask, what is crowding your room right now? Take your time with this, okay? We're going to work this. I want you to think about this from a room perspective. Think about the rooms that you're in, and I want you to consider that because we're going to do just a brief exercise here. Which room do you need? Mental, emotional, physical, relational, spiritual, creative, recovery. I need room. All right, write it down and put that in the chat if you will. And then let's do an application. What's crowding it right now? Let's think about this, and we're going to work through this in a way that's going to help us recognize how we're actually making room. So here's the practice. The practice is choose what you need, and then what needs to be removed, reduced, released, or reordered in your room. So we've already chosen, you've already chosen your room, right? You've chosen which one. Then ask what's crowding it. Think about the crowding. And then now let's think about what needs to be removed, reduced, released, or reordered. All right, we're going to pause here for a moment. While you're doing that, let's see what we got here. All right. I've learned to ask for help, release, share, delegate is necessary for maintaining balance. That's right. The goal is return. Absolutely. Strategies to condition ourselves to encounter peaceful moments of calm. The goal, return to self. All right. Recovery room. All right. Go ahead and put your rooms out there, folks. I'll bring it up one more time for you. What's your room? Which room right now? Choose the room. And I want you to think about what's already crowding it right now. Mental, emotional, physical, relational, spiritual, creative, recovery. Then we're going to shift over to what needs to be removed from that room, or reduced, or released, or even reordered. Sometimes you got too much clutter that's going on in there that you've identified that you need to work on. So we've got recovery room, we got creative, we got recovery. They're coming in. All right, folks, thank you for your participation. If you're over there writing it down, that's good. We've got relational, mental, emotional. All right, let's write out the rooms. And then I want you to think about this in your journal time over the next even couple of days. You can start now, but the goal ultimately is to make an exercise where you're not making time, but you're making room by identifying the rooms and thinking about what's in that room right now and perhaps what needs to be moved around. So Hope, what are you thinking over there? I see your eyes going up. What do you think?
Well, I was thinking about creativity.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's walk through this. So you're saying you're thinking about creativity. And so what is crowding the creativity room right now for you?
At this point, it's like, of course, my job. I have something new that I've taken on where I need to implement some things, and then other things in my life that I'm trying to implement that's kind of crowding as well, and that I need to take a look at.
So let's do live coaching since you already answered that question. So what needs to be removed? You don't have to answer that right now, but I want you to just think about it. What do you think needs to be removed, reduced, released, or reordered? Just kind of think through it. Carmela, what thoughts you guys see writing? Anything you want to share?
Oh, well, I looked at two different things. One of them was recovery, but what's sticking out the most is physical, and being very practical about even my home. What I've been working on is making all of my rooms aligned to the same decor. I know a lot of that may not mean much to someone else, but for me, there's some things that are outdated that I would like very much so to align with all of the themes need for me right now. I want it to align to this one cohesive theme. So the whole place is like that now. So I want to feel the same vibe in each place that I go, that it's the same, that it's aligning. And so that's where I'm at right now. That's the practical thing. I'm not saying it bothers me, but I think that's where the challenge is for me right now in this season. So I can align everything together and not walk into one place and it's making me think of something nostalgia or something else, and then coming to this theme, and I got all of the beach theme or the whatever you call it. So I that means a lot to me. So I think that's where I'm at right now.
All right. Thank you.
That's
Folks,
good.
I want you to think about your rooms. Think about your rooms, the different rooms that you've chosen. I've seen recovery, creative, recovery, relational, mental, emotional. And again, you want to ensure that you're exactly thinking about what needs to be removed, reduced, released, or reordered. And however creative you want to be with that. Because ultimately it's not about making more time. It is about the room in your life. Hope talked about creative, and so challenging her here even in our renewal practice today about what needs to be removed so that she can free up her creative room, the creative space in her life. All right. We're going to go over to another exercise about rhythm. I mentioned rhythm, and you want to move into a space where you develop a rhythm and not just wish about your rhythm. So a rhythm doesn't have to be large. It just needs to be something that's repeatable in your life, something that you can make it habitual or repeatable in your life. And I want to dig into that a little bit, in terms of how we develop a rhythm framework in our life. And part of that could be that releasing false urgencies. All right. Not everything that feels urgent is important. The old book, The Tyranny of the Urgent. All right. Not everything that is urgent is important. You got to honor your limits. Your limits are not your enemies. Your limits are your signals. They're not your enemies. Sometimes, there's also yielding the need to control everything. You are only responsible for your part, not every single outcome. That can also eat up your time.
That's good.
All right. You're responsible for your part. And then when you're done with your part, you're still thinking about it and it's still eating up headspace. Feel the need to control everything. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. You know what? I'm in control. I just got to have things good. Be honest and tell the truth about that, because honesty is the beginning of renewal. It's the beginning of rest by saying, I need to really disconnect and hold space for recovery. That's emotional maturity and awareness when you hold space for recovery. That's part of good stewardship and faithful and even healthy leadership. I may say that for you as a leader. And I think also one thing I wanted to mention just in some of my notes as I was thinking about our session was you want to move with intention. And here's what I mean. You want to do fewer things on autopilot. And here's what I mean. Like learning how to disrupt certain things that if you have automation, that's different when it comes to our life and management systems. I'm not talking about that. I want you to think about how to move with intention about things that support your wholeness and grounding yourself in those types of things. So before we talk about time, we need to arrive mentally and emotionally in the space we're in and really take a moment to say, you're allowed to be here. You're allowed to pause. You're allowed to notice what you've been carrying. And when and then when you say, I need to make time for myself, what really comes up for you? So this is about making the room. We've talked about the myths. So what I want us to do now is start considering perhaps a renewal rhythm where it says this matters enough to be practiced. It doesn't have to be large, just repeatable. What is one rhythm this week that would help you become more present and less resentful about you not having the time you need? I mean, are you taking a lunch break that is actually a break? Or are you just scuffling down your food? I mean, so I can get back to what I need to do. Or are you actually tasting your salad dressing? I mean, you know what I mean? Do you even know what are you just hurrying up?
I think that's so important when you're talking about that, because presence means so much, even in our lives as we slow down, like you were saying. What is, I mean, sometimes we're so used to, well, we know what it tastes like. We know what, you just scarf it down and eat it, but being present enough to enjoy it and with gratitude, being thankful that you have it and just that moment, I think presence means so much.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
that autopilot that
Yeah.
I'm just used to it. So I just scuff, just
Mhm.
folks, we gotta think about this matters enough to be practiced. I want to bring that up one more time for you. This matters enough to be practiced. We need to think about that as a rhythm, not, oh, I hope I get the time. If you're still saying, I hope I get the time, you have not entered into this rhythm yet. We want to work on this rhythm. Now, folks, again, let's remove the perfectionist mentality, all right, where you say, well, I mean, I got to have a block. It's got to be. No, we're not talking about just volumes of time. We're talking about building a rhythm where we're able to do small incremental things. 10 minutes before you're on the phone, one evening without any commitments. You got one evening, no commitments, and you don't even explain to anybody at
Yeah.
all anything. Matter of fact, let me say that. What are you doing? Nothing.
Right.
And then that means that they can fill your time. That's not what that means. It means absolutely nothing. Nothing is what that means. Okay. So little things like that that'll be very helpful. A no phone transition home time, short walk after work. Some of you already journal. Lunch break. That's actually a real break. Let's go back to that again. And there may be other rhythm exercises that you do. It might be nice if anybody has any other ideas. By all means, put them out there. Michelle says here, I did something different today for tea time. I had my dinner at the park during the session. My nervous system is extremely happy. I will do this again for sure. All right. Yeah. Good, good, good.
Mhm.
All right. Say
All
hello to
right.
the ducks wherever you are. All right. So let's keep going. I want to just close out a few more things. I want to share a few more principles I think will be very helpful for us as we think about another way to look at this. And I call it a room framework. And then I'll end on something called 5 honest minutes, and five
Mhm.
honest minutes, which will help us with that. And so this one here is going to be a framework, again, room, ROOM, and recognize the real barrier. Like, are you guilty? Do you feel guilt when you don't finish things?
Mhm.
Or is it, um, you're afraid that something may not go through? Or is it perfectionism because you got to have everything, all your ducks in a row, um, own your capacity. Capacity is not weakness. Capacity is information.
Mhm.
It's not weakness. Just because everybody else is grinding it out doesn't mean you have to follow suit
Yeah.
to prove whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, capacity is information. You got to own your capacity. You need to be able to we need to be able to say, you know what, I don't have the capacity for that. I'm not adding one more thing to this day, this schedule. I'm saying no. And you can't be concerned about, well, what they gonna think about me if I say no? So what are you gonna think about yourself when you don't feel well? Because you've overextended yourself. That's the real question. Own your capacity. Order your rhythm. Place renewal in before exhaustion takes over. I really want us to think about this before you start getting into exhaustions. And then also make peace with your limits. Limits are wisdom. And these for you believers out there. I can do all things. Okay, let's just kind of step back a little bit.
Took that out of
I
context.
can't. Okay. Okay. We got to make peace with limits. Limits doesn't mean you're failing, and capacity doesn't mean weakness. It's just information.
Yeah.
It lets you know what you have the capacity for and not. You got to make peace with your limit. If you don't, you will overextend yourself and think you got to do everything consistently all the time. And you find yourself not even knowing who you are because you've given away the farm.
That's right.
Yeah.
Again, today we're talking about the myth of making time for yourself. Renewal requires permission. It's not just about planning. Now, yeah, some people need some planning. That's another conversation. All right. Because if you're all over the place, you're not, we're not efficient. But we got to make peace with our limits. It's okay to have those limits. I know sometimes we think that we don't, we got to do everything. But we started out by saying, I am not unlimited, right? We do have our limits. We do have capacity, and it's okay to honor those. And when we do that, when we honor those, we are even more healthier because of that. So I want to give you something. I think we talked about this earlier, but this is about how renewal can begin in 5 honest minutes. And again, I shared earlier that the goal is return. Sitting quietly, breathing slowly. I think I mentioned that. Putting the phone away. All right. I also want you to ask these questions. 4 questions. I just want you to put it out there. What am I carrying? What do I need? What can wait? And what is one wise next step? So let's write this out. What am I carrying? In other words, what's on me that I no longer need to carry? In my rooms. Think about the rooms.
Mm-hmm.
What am I carrying? So that's question number 1. Then I need to ask myself, what do I need? Because that places your health at the center. It helps you establish a real approach to a renewal rhythm. Asking yourself what your needs are, really understanding that, and then thinking about what can actually wait. Like, does everything need to be done right now? Some of us need to get into the rhythm of asking people, when do you need that by? Well, I needed it. Well, right now I don't have the capacity to do that right now.
Mm-hmm.
And be able to say that without feeling any hint of guilt.
Mm-hmm.
What am I carrying? What do I need? What can wait? Like right now, and this is not about others asking you. This is about what can wait based upon what's on your plate right now, what's in your room. You think about what's in the room, the creative room, the recovery room, the mental room, the emotional room, the physical room, whatever those rooms are. What am I carrying? What do I need? What can wait? What is one wise next step? See, this is important because what this is going to help us do is help us really understand where we are in our rhythms and making sure that we're making room. I want you to think about this just overall. What did you learn from this? What resonated with you during our tea time today? We're going to slow it down. All right. Again, making room is different from making time. Making time is about squeezing more into the calendar. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about creating space for what matters. Saying no, asking for help, leaving something unfinished, turning off a device, protecting one evening, sitting in silence, choosing presence over pressure. We talked about that. It's not dramatic. It's not that it has to be a dramatic change. Sometimes it can be quiet, small, and intentional. So hopefully you've thought through one area where you may need room, your mental room, your emotional, physical, relational, what have you. And I want you to think about what's been crowding that and perhaps what needs to take place in order for you to experience transformation in that area. If I had more time, I would take you through some journal entries, but I know we're about at time. But wanted to make sure that we develop a rhythm, not just a wish. And it doesn't have to be large, just something that's repeatable, that we can and start implementing that into our life. So again, start small, tell the truth to yourself, make room for it, honor your capacity, okay, own it, and think about one small act of room making that you'll practice this week. One small act of room making that you'll practice this week. All right, so let's do a quick myth audit. I'm going to do a quick audit, a time audit for you, and then we'll close out. Before I do that, Hope, Carmela, any thoughts, any takeaways, anything that you want to highlight before we finish? Also, want to hear from everyone that's out there, tea timers. I think this is good. I really am enjoying this subject. I hope that you are as well. This renewal practice, but just want to hear some thoughts from you, some applications, and then I want to do a quick closing exercise. Oh, thoughts?
I'm sorry, I was taking notes of what you're taking notes. So, I just for me, this was really important because I'm still working on some rooms, especially the creative room, um, and with that, I think that this has helped me to be able to better navigate that. The areas I see it, my feedback is the areas I need to work on. I see I need to work on some areas, far as making myself available to everyone at every time. That is something I am very digitally working on. And so I see that I need to be more um, prompt in doing that because it causes a place of frustration because I don't have the time. Like when I'm trying to take time for myself, I am allowing myself to be available to certain situations that I need not to be available to.
Mm, mm,
Yeah.
all right,
So
that's good.
I have to work on that.
Okay, thank you for that.
Hmm.
Any thoughts from you?
Well, I just want to say that tonight this was very good because you shedded some light on these myths that exist, even though we don't say it that often, but they do exist, and
Hmm.
that these myths keep us stuck from making time for ourselves. And I like the fact that we need to be validating the fact that we need to grant ourselves permission. It's okay. It's
Mm,
okay to grant ourselves permission, and permission begins with us ourselves. Once, like you said, one of the things that stuck out to me as you were talking about whatever we do, we need to be doing that with intention. And intention means I intentionally, on purpose, grant myself permission to do what I need to do to get unstuck and rest and focus on what I need to do to change or to recalibrate or to upgrade or whatever we need to do that's necessary to adjust those rooms that you were talking about. So um, for me, my takeaway again is I like the fact that I need to create space and create margin. It's not going to just
mm,
happen by itself.
mm-hmm,
I have to create margin and create opportunity for that.
mm, that's good.
Hmm.
Thank you. Mm.
Yeah.
All right, tea time community. Thank you both for sharing. What are your takeaways? What did you learn? What will you implement? Found favorite says here, my takeaway is implementing these small, powerful 5 minute renewal practices more consistently. All right. All right. Monique says here, I have permission to rest and recharge without feeling guilty. Folks, what are some of your takeaways, thoughts, things that are challenging you that you're going to do differently? I want you to think about this, and I want you to complete this statement. Um, just the time myth, um, I believe most, just as a journal entry. All right. Like a time myth that I believe the most, and kind of think about where did it come from. I'm gonna drop this in the comments here just for you to reflect. For those of you that want to do some reflection exercises, this is what this is to take a look at your myths and think about this and consider the time myth I believe most is I learned this from this. It has helped me by this. It has harmed me by this. And a healthier belief would be this is more like a way to unlearn something that we've learned, and really dig into that. And it might be helpful to bring in some help, whether it's a coach or accountability or somebody important to you to help you make adjustments in those areas. So I just wanted to drop that there in the chat, perhaps as a prompt for you to think about as you're working through it, as a practical way of helping you think about room. It's not about scheduling as much as it is about the room in your life. Let's see a few more here. Yolanda says here, I concur with Apostle Hope. I am a work in process, intentionally addressing the myths and granting myself permission to make peace with my limits, adjustments, and process. All right. Thank you for sharing that. Christian Chemo Chick says here, great session this evening. Takeaway, be truthful to self of my current capacity to remain at peace and within my healed space. All right. That I put here in the comments here. This is just a little exercise to kind of help you navigate how to deal with the time myth. I got a few more, but we'll perhaps do that at another time. I got something called the energy leakers, but we'll perhaps do that later. All right. Thanks everybody for being on tonight. What a few announcements I wanted to share with us. Please stay on and continue to write out for us what your takeaways are. We would love to hear from you. Continue what your takeaways are. I wanted to start out by sharing that we do have Women at the Well coming up on July 11th. July 11th, Saturday, July 11th, not the first, but the second Saturday. All right. So again, Zoom opens up at 10 a.m. Please invite someone. Please share this with other ladies so that you can participate in the Bible study series that's going on. There's a new Zoom login instructions, meeting ID, and the password. Look forward to you ladies being a part of that. So wanted to share that with you as well. All right. Also want to share with you the importance of what we're here at the Renewal Center. We have virtual summer sessions for our grief, pain, and stress support group. All right. The next one is July 19th. There is still available space. So please reach out to us at the Renewal Centers 2020 at gmail.com, or you can inquire of us on our website under the grief recovery section, our grief program. All right. And also, if you do need personal grief recovery to help you with any particular loss specifically, we believe you deserve healing and you deserve renewal. You can schedule your session today also by emailing us as well, or sending information directly to our site. And lastly, we want to thank everybody. Please feel free to connect with us each and every Sunday for our New You Digital Discipleship, Sundays at 10 a.m. Here's a Zoom and the password. We appreciate this digital space that we have to offer. And again, I want to thank everyone for participating this evening. If you've been strengthened, edified, renewed by any of our content, download our mobile app. We have a blog. We have our recordings from our speaking, our Wednesday sessions of Reforming Culture, our Sunday New Digital Discipleship from our ministry team here. We'd love you to be able to participate in that. If you have prayer requests, you can send those in there as well. And these are the ways you can support us. I want to thank you, and also consider partnering with us. These are the ways that you can give through the renewalcenters.com/give, which is our website. You can text Renewal Center to 888-364-4483. Also, we have PayPal and Zelle, which is the Renewal Center 2020 at gmail.com, or Venmo at Renewal Center. You can also mail your check to P.O. Box 1381, Concord, North Carolina 28026. All right. Well, thanks again for being a part of our community this evening. Let's see if any more comments coming in. I think we covered. There's a few more. Darlene says here, my takeaway. Oops, hold on. It's time to stop waiting for permission to slow down and rest. It's needed that I slow down because all my rooms are crowding into each other. All right. Yes, you're welcome. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Thanks for being on. Carmela, again, thank you so much. Hope, again, thank you so much. All right. Thanks, everyone, all T-timers. Hope that this has been a strength to you. And again, I am Renewal. Take care of each other and do what you need to do to take time for yourself and make room as well. We'll see you next time.